I've put this off for a while, but it's about time I talked about it. I'm sure for those who watched the previous Typical Opinions video on the kunai, you might have been wondering about the end part. Well, I'll explain that and more, in regards to my channel, my appearance, and, well, me as a person. This video will be a lot more serious and will go into some deeper stuff compared to what I normally would upload. So keep that in mind as you watch this. So let's get started. Most of my audience comes from the TC2 community, which is where I'm best known. The reason for this was because of my TC2 covers of FNF songs. It all started as a joke with the first ever cover of Honor Bound. I had no idea how to make proper chromatics at the time, so it was just one sample for Trooper and Annihilator. I didn't expect it to get so much attention in so little time, and as of writing this script, it sits at 35k views, which is the second highest of all my videos. The first is Typical Moments 3 with 45k views. The sudden spike in view count compared to my other videos before that encouraged me to make more covers, eventually learning how to make proper chromatics and updating older covers with them. However, I slowed down with how often I made them because I wanted to do more than just covers, but never committed to them. Eventually, I stopped making covers altogether due to a lack of interest in making them. I want to do a lot more visually with the covers than just the audio. I wanted to fully animate them in Roblox Studio, similar to that of the gameplay of FNF, to provide something to watch as well as listen to. But I tend to lose my motivation very easily, so I never did much with them. Clip dumping, which is what the Typical Moments series was for, was nice, but felt like I wasn't really getting anywhere with just those. They may still be done in the future, but not as often. The Typical Opinions series, which is where I am right now, feels like I'm in a place where I can just say what's on my mind about the game itself and changes that I'd like to see. As a player with plenty of experience, I figured I'd have a place in this to talk about the game. Don't worry, nothing's gonna happen to the series. I just wanted to do this before working on the next one. But it's not just TC2 that I want to do. I want to provide content for a variety of games, mainly Switch games for stuff like Splatoon 3 and Mario Kart 8, which is why I've been secretly taking that to a different site. Now, there's one aspect of the channel that you may have noticed has changed a lot over the past few years. That being the character for it. The reason for so many changes was because I never could fully settle on the attire of my avatar / Sona. Those who've known me the longest would know that I started off as a detective. It was the most iconic appearance I had, but I eventually grew tired of wearing it, so I went to see what else I could do, which resulted in the first change. However, something in my mind was telling me that it wasn't good enough, so I changed again, and 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 again. But it felt like I was getting nowhere with this, so eventually I caved in and went back to the detective. By the time I did, it felt like I could use an update. So I did, making it more of a cyber detective. But even then, it felt like something wasn't quite right. I was in a constant loop of torment that it took a toll on my mind. I could never figure out why this kept happening or why I couldn't just stick with one thing. But then, with a little help from my friends, everything started to become clear. All of my avatars were amazing, but I never fully viewed them as such because they weren't what I was looking for. Because of that, I kept abandoning the previous one for a new one, trying to satisfy myself, only to be met with disappointment, because I was limited by the selection of accessories within the Roblox catalog. With that knowledge and understanding, instead of trying to make something with the limitations of the game, I decided it was time I take it into my own hands and make something with what I like. I started off with the colors that I like to wear, those being navy blue, light blue, yellow, pink, and black. I thought of ways I could implement those colors into an outfit. That was when I remembered something. I've always wanted to wear something that was Pac-Man related, or based off of Pac-Man. So I did just that on the jacket. I also added some big cartoony gloves to it and some boots. I was gonna make the boots the same color as the gloves, but I decided to make them pink because I like wearing pink and really wanted that color somewhere on the outfit. And also because of the punk pinks from Splatoon 3, which became what he wore. Then came the headwear. I always tended to avoid using a flat cap because of the mindset that it can't be recreated on Roblox. But now that I was out of that loop, I gave him a navy flat cap similar to the one I own, as well as adding some little packs to the side. After some adjustments, I settled on something that I actually truly liked, because it had what I wanted. The end result is this, my new Sona, and hopefully the last big change to it. His name is Tak, spelled with 2 C's. He's an arcade enthusiast and loves old retro games, the biggest obviously being Pac-Man because of his attire. In terms of lore, there isn't that much yet, but I can tell you what I have in mind for it. For starters, what you're looking at right now is his appearance whenever he's in some kind of arcade, simply referred to as his retro form. He sees those kinds of places as a safe place where he can be himself without worry of judgment. His actual appearance is this. Not only does he look different from his retro form, but he acts differently too. Tak is a bit moody, usually switching from melancholy to hyped to annoyed in an instant, depending on the situation. In arcades, he's a lot more upbeat and energetic. Regardless of where he is extremely quiet and a bit shy. He also has a little creature with him that's basically just a spiny shell with stubby legs. Info on him can be basically summed up in a notebook Tak wrote in that says, his name is George and he is too fat to fly. He can still explode if I throw him at someone. The reason for this idea was because of a spiny shell plush that I got, and I just imagined it just having stubby little legs, so I drew it. Going back to Tak, you may have noticed the rainbow infinity symbol on his left cheek. The reason for this is because it reflects on myself and my discoveries in terms of my mental health. If you know what this symbol means, then you understand what I'm implying. While I was still doing fine physically, I wasn't at all mentally. I was in a bit of a slump. My body felt sluggish at times, which demotivated me from doing anything and is part of why it takes months for me to get a video out. I felt like there was something wrong with me, but I wasn't sure if that was true or if that was just me hating myself too much. Eventually, that all got cleared up a few months ago when I got my psychological evaluation report, which is why Tak has that sticker. Also because I liked how it looked on him. So, what does this all mean for the channel? Well, let's just say that things will slowly get back on track, and hopefully it won't take such a long time to make videos, unless it's something super big. The next video will be the next episode of Typical Opinions, and I think you guys might like this one since it's one of, if not my all-time favorite weapon to use. In terms of other content, I may still do typical moments, because I just have a bunch of clips saved and might as well do something with them, right? However, in terms of FNF covers, I'm actually quite curious as to what you all think of me animating them in Roblox Studio in a similar way as if they were like in an actual mod. Let me know in the comments. On top of that, I'm hoping to expand my content a bit more with more games other than just Roblox and typical colors too. So I hope you stick around for that. But in the meantime, thanks for watching to the end, and I'll see you next time.